We are going to step on over into the lecture gallery just right around the corner here. It's one of the featured exhibits there. They have the Kentucky African American Encyclopedia. And as Naila Spencer found out, this book is the key to the mission to preserve and promote African American heritage right here in Kentucky. Take a look.
African Americans in Kentucky have a rich history in the Bluegrass State, and a resource for learning about that history is the Kentucky Center for African American Heritage. Today I'm joined by Dr. Gerald Smith. He's a history professor at the University of Kentucky, as well as a pastor at Pilgrim Baptist Church and on the board of directors of the center. How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you.
Awesome, thank you so much for being here. So let's talk about your relationship with the center. How did that relationship begin?
It actually began about 10 years ago. At the time I was serving as the vice chair of the Kentucky African American Heritage Commission and was later appointed as chair of that commission. So the Kentucky African American Heritage Commission preserves and promotes the study of African American history in terms of not only people, places, events, and organizations, but also doing whatever we can to get more information out about the Kentucky African American experience.
Which is super important. So tell me, what is your role currently here?
Well, currently I serve on the board and supporting, the mission of the center.
That's amazing. So I know that you have a new book coming out. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, the new book is titled Slavery and Freedom in the Bluegrass State, Revisiting My Old Kentucky Home. It actually evolved out of my work with the Kentucky African American Encyclopedia. The Kentucky African American Encyclopedia was published in 2015. There were 3 general editors, myself, Karen McDaniels, and John Harden. We had 16 members on the staff. We had 150 some writers for the encyclopedia. There are over 1,100 entries in the encyclopedia, 142 photographs. Of the 120 counties in Kentucky, 86 counties are covered. People, places, events, organizations, institutions, you name it. I mean, it is the major reference work for African American history in Kentucky.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're obviously doing a lot of research, and then you also are recording that research. So tell me, why is it important to keep the conversation going about the role that African Americans play in history right here in Kentucky?
Well, I think first of all, we have to keep in mind that African Americans in the state of Kentucky were very much a part of the social, cultural, political, economic development of the state, from slavery to freedom. And then secondly, we are a part of the larger historical narrative of American history. And then thirdly, I think it's very important that we tell the life story of those Kentucky African Americans, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
And I'm sure that your research has led you to a lot of different areas in Kentucky. What is the most memorable moment or memorable place that you've been?
Clearly, the most memorable place for me was visiting my old Kentucky home, Federal Hill in Bardstown, because from that experience, the seed was planted for me to work on this recent publication, Revisiting My Old Kentucky Home. And when I say revisit my old Kentucky home, I want to focus on re-examining and rethinking about how we study and learn and teach Kentucky African American history.
Yes, and I think that the center plays a huge role in creating that discourse and making sure that people are, continuing that research. So tell me, being here, why should people come and be a part of these conversations and want to research some of these things?
Well, I think the center is just ideal. One, in terms of the exhibits, whether they're photographed or the real exhibits that are in place. It allows individuals to connect with that past, to share with the next generation what that past was like in real time and with real documents and real exhibits, but also a place for conversation, panels, lectures, planning in terms of how we move forward in preserving this history.
Awesome, and you mentioned 2 books, so I want to know, where's the best place for people to learn more information about some of the books that you've written on or have upcoming?
Yeah, they're, you can get them at your local bookstores. Of course, the Kentucky African American Encyclopedia, Slavery and Freedom in the Bluegrass State, Revisiting My Old Kentucky Home. I have another book titled A Black Educator in the Segregated South, Kentucky's Rufus B. Atwood, who was the president of Kentucky State College for 33 years. So there may be some Kentucky State alum that are interested in that book as well. And I'm now writing a new general history on the Kentucky African American experience.
Wow, and so if people want to keep up with you and your journey and learn more from you, what's the best way for them to get
Just email me at, I'm a history professor at the University of Kentucky. I don't have a Twitter account, I'm not on Facebook. Just the old-fashioned way.